The Buccaneers are primed for the Super Bowl. Let's start things off with a quick recap. What happened division round weekend? Rams quarterback Jared Goff started off the game gloved up to compensate for that broken thumb that he had surgery on less than 3 weeks ago. Was able to overcome a defeat of the Seattle Seahawks last week to keep the playoff push moving. But alas, the Rams were stopped by the Green Bay Packers in frosty Lambeau Field. Aaron Donald, one of the biggest non-factors of the game, was suffering from rib injuries and really just played about 50 or less percent of snaps. So even with Jalen Ramsey doing as best as he possibly could, Davante Adams was still a huge factor in a Packers onslaught of offense. Buffalo and the Baltimore Ravens. The wind was a huge factor throughout the first half of the game, and it remained a factor throughout the second half, but we'll get to what happened in the second. Justin Tucker in the first half missing a pair of field goals, very unlike the very savvy veteran kicker, the, pinnacle of consistency. Justin Tucker just was unable to overcome the 20+ mile-per-hour winds in Buffalo. But heading into the second half, a very close, tied-up game became quite the opposite after a pick six by Lamar Jackson in the third quarter really opened the floodgates for the Buffalo Bills. Things would never be close and never be, the same. Lamar getting hurt late in the game essentially sealed all hopes the Baltimore Ravens had of advancing. Kansas City and the Cleveland Browns. Kansas City got up to an early start. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and company were all clicking, firing on all cylinders as they got off to a 13-3 lead against their opponent, Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt did all they possibly could, but what really turned the tide was Patrick Mahomes getting injured in the second half, getting concussed, out for the remainder of the game. The rest of the game will be led by Chad Henne, the backup quarterback. And look, the Browns pulled things close. A Kareem Hunt touchdown pulled them within one score, and a chance to, make a late game push was stopped by Chad Henne on, one of the most ballsy calls by Andy Reid in his coaching history, calling a passing play on 4th and short to seal the game in the fourth quarter. The Kansas City Chiefs advanced to the conference championship. And then finally, the division round matchup that sealed a career. New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pre-game, Drew Brees announced that it was going to be his final season playing in the NFL, regardless of the result of this game. And honestly, it looked like it was just about time. Drew Brees did the Saints no favors by throwing 3 interceptions. The Saints turned the ball over 4 times, and that's honestly just not how you win games against Tom Brady and a very savvy veteran coach in Bruce Arians. And the defense came up big for the Buccaneers, but Brady led the way offensively, putting up over 30 points against a Saints team that honestly just didn't look like it could keep up. Michael Thomas relegated to 0 catches, being double teamed often throughout this matchup. And honestly, the Saints, that's about all they got. So with that, we say goodbye to a few teams: the New Orleans Saints, the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, and the Los Angeles Rams seasons ended this weekend. And let me just quickly add a thank you to Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints, calling it a career after the loss to the Buccaneers. And honestly, let me just round of applause for Drew Brees. A hell of a career, 19 years, over 80,000 passing yards, a ton of passing records, honestly over 170 wins. 8 playoff wins throughout his entire career, a Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 44 winner, and honestly, Drew Brees gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So NFL fans all over the world, all over this great, blue dot that we got, just appreciating the career of Drew Brees. And as a Rines Report send-off, just wanted to honor him with a quick little moment. Oh, and so after I finished recording, some more news broke. Philip Rivers has decided to retire from the NFL after a 17-year career in which Philip Rivers honestly was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Unfortunately, never quite had the playoff success as some guys like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning. But Philip Rivers is one of the better quarterbacks in the game over the last more than decade and a half. So I just want to quickly give him some props.
some amazing numbers from Phillip Rivers throughout his entire career. Over 63,000 passing yards, 421 touchdown passes, 134 career wins between the Colts and the LA/San Diego Chargers. So another big retirement hitting the NFL.
But now let's look ahead to this upcoming Sunday. Starting things off with Kansas City and Buffalo, going to be a really close matchup, and there are a few things that we need to keep our eyes on here. Number one being, will Patrick Mahomes be clear to play in time for this conference championship? Now, while he looked really shaky, and I'm going to play a quick little gif here, really shaky after that hit against the Cleveland Browns, it looks like things have been trending in the right direction. He did run into the tunnel after the hit. He did seem to be a little bit more composed, but obviously team doctors doing their due diligence, not clearing him for the return for that game. But the status of Patrick Mahomes is going to be oh so important as we head into conference championship weekend against a very tough Buffalo Bills. And on the Bills side of things, are they going to be able to go tick for tat here with a Kansas City offense if Mahomes is healthy? If the Chiefs are firing on all cylinders on their home turf, can the Bills just keep up offensively? And they should be able to. One of the top offenses in the NFL, just behind the Green Bay Packers. Buffalo shouldn't have any problem keeping up. Both these teams very similar, very strong, talented defenses on both sides. Just going to be a really fun matchup. And Green Bay versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So many storylines on the line here. Honestly, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, that's about as good as it gets for NFC Championship football. Tom Brady going in his first conference championship, not as a New England Patriot. Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. The matchups have gone what seemed to be in Tom Brady's favor as of late, beating the Packers earlier this season quite considerably in Tampa Bay, but obviously the playing field is going to be much more different. Going to be a cold, snowy environment that we're anticipating out of Lambeau. And Tom Brady, no stranger to cold weather games, but the rest of the team for the Buccaneers, are they going to be ready and prepared? I don't think the weather's going to be as much of a factor as it's going to be dueling offenses. And for the Green Bay Packers, honestly, are they going to be able to play their brand of football? That's the biggest questions I got going into this Sunday. But now it's time to get to what you clicked on the video for. What brought you here in the first place? It's our take of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are primed for the Super Bowl. Now look, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might not have won a lot of games very pretty, might not have had a super strong identity moving forward, but this offense is no joke, being led by not just the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest football player of all time in Tom Brady, has skyrocketed them into contention to go to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's ninth appearance in the Super Bowl. No, scratch that. That would actually be his 10th. But look, the Buccaneers are not in this game just because of Tom Brady. They're in this game for good reason. They have gotten to this point for good reason. And one of the big things offensively is the staggering amount of talent. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have it on every single level of the offense. Obviously, you got Tom Brady, but on the offensive line, you got a few very savvy veteran offensive linemen. You've got Ryan Jensen. You've got Ali Marpet. You've got the rookie playing solid football at right tackle, Tristan, and you got Smith on the left side of the field, holding things down, holding down a pretty sturdy offensive line for the vet Tom. And outside of the offensive line, the wide receivers. Oh my goodness. Mike Evans, over 1,000 yards, 7 straight seasons, has not missed a step this postseason. You've got Antonio Brown, who can just cut cornerbacks on a dime, honestly. Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Johnson. Oh my, they're just so stacked and they have so much depth at the wide receiver position. At running back, you got Ronald Jones, and Leonard Fournette seems to have been birthed in a new life, over 150 rushing yards through the first 2 postseason games. Saved him for the postseason when the football, it gets a lot more grinded out, and Fournette has been paying off, converting on those third down plays. Oh, and I almost forgot Rob Gronkowski at tight end. Honestly, still a very solid red zone threat. Offensively, the Buccaneers, relying on the passing game, were 7th in the league in yards per game, 2nd in the NFL in passing yards per game. Oh, and 3rd in points per game. So look, the offense knows how to score. But they're not just all offense. The defense, that front 7, is staggering. Number 1 in rush defense, 8 in points per game, 6th in total yardage allowed per game. Oh, and to top it all off, they're 5th in sacks. Defensively, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are stacked up with talent. Shaquille Barrett, Devin White, Levante David, Jason Pierre-Paul, and Ndamukong Suh. A lot of veteran presence there. And in the secondary, Anton Winfield Jr. holding things down for the secondary. But let's get to that, because the secondary for the Buccaneers has been the weakest link throughout this entire season. Look, and outside of Anton Winfield, they're just really, really young. They don't have a lot of experience, and none of these guys have really stepped out into the frame and said, hey, look, I am a straight-up playmaker. But even with that being said, they did hold Michael Thomas to 0 catches, so that's worth mentioning. But the rest of the teams left in this playoff all have really good quarterback wide receiver combinations. Green Bay, obviously, who they're matching up with this week. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Buffalo. You got Allen and Diggs. And in Kansas City, you got Tyreek Hill, who burned them for 296 yards during the regular season. Travis Kelce as well. So the secondary for the Buccaneers is going to be one of the pivotal position groups for this team moving forward. Oh, and the special teams looked like it was a little suspect during the Saints game, so maybe they're going to need to clean things up moving forward. But with Tom Brady leading the way, I have a rough time counting them out in any kind of game, in any kind of scenario. His veteran leadership has carried them quite a ways throughout this year and past their in-division rival, the New Orleans Saints. Honestly, this Tampa Bay team looks like it's got something going. This game against the Packers, I'm telling you, it's going to be super close. Playoff football on the line. The MVP frontrunner in Aaron Rodgers. This is going to have to be a game where the Buccaneers outscore the Green Bay Packers and hope that their pass rush, harasses Rodgers all day. But the Buccaneers, potential Super Bowl contenders, that's the take of the week. And now it's time for the final segment, very short this week, our picks of the week. First things first, Kansas City and Buffalo. If Patrick Mahomes is all go, give me Kansas City. And the latter of the two matchups, Green Bay, Tampa Bay. I've already talked a lot about it in this video, but give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But thank you so much for watching the video. Feel free to stick around, watch some more content, check me out on social media. All those are down in the description below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, get the bell and know every single time I'm dropping a video. My name's Tristan Blake Rines, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Adios.